Jerk chicken. Has everyone heard of jerk chicken before? Lots of flavor, usually lots of heat as well. But it's a delicious way to sort of flavor your vegetables, meat, whatever it is.
Right.
It's a great little marinade, and like Stephanie mentioned, marinating some of these ingredients, especially when we're using stuff like lime juice and lemon juice and orange juice, can really give it a little extra layer of protection. So we're definitely going to go heavier on those elements as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, turkey. We're using turkey. We're going with the thigh though, because
Which is still considered lean compared to other meats. But we've also removed the skin.
Yes, yeah, remove the skin, but the thigh tends to be a little more moist. It does have a little bit more fat, but it holds up a little bit better on the barbecue. You can definitely do this with chicken as well. Again, for me, I'd go chicken thighs because I just think they come a little bit juicier on the grill. And we're gonna treat it with this tasty little marinade. So this can be done in a blender. And what I'm gonna do is start off with some green onions, scallions, and put these guys in here.
Yeah. So marinating the lean meats, so the chicken, turkey, or fish, with fruit juices, so lemon, lime, orange, and then other types of vegetables and herbs, those antioxidants actually create a blockage around and help decrease the amount of cancer-forming chemicals that may form during the barbecuing process. So it's a protective mechanism as well.
We're gonna throw some garlic in there. Do you like garlic?
Of course.
Yes. All right. So you can use as much garlic or as little garlic as you like. We're gonna actually just grate this in, just so. We should blend it. It should blend properly, but sometimes you get like a nice chunk of garlic, and it's not the most pleasing thing. So we're using a microplane here, and I've got a few cloves, and if you don't mind, just sort of grating it right into there. In addition to the garlic, I have some ginger, and just a few slices of ginger. Again, this is gonna give it some really, really nice flavor. Lots of fresh flavors here, for sure. Even if, at the end you can just throw in just like that. That's perfect.
Right, there we go.
And the key to any good jerk is pimento. Has anyone heard of pimento before? Or allspice? Jamaican allspice. This has an incredible flavor. You can find this in most grocery stores should carry this now. Definitely some, like if you go to Kensington, you'll definitely find some beautiful pimento there. But this is what it looks like. Should be pretty familiar. I'm gonna pass this. Actually, Steph, do you mind passing that around? And you can grind it yourself, or if you can find a ground, get a ground. And it has almost this, this like warm, almost like, it reminds me of like almost like a nutmeg or that's like Christmassy sort of spices. But this is going to give your jerk marinade a lot of flavor. So we're going to add about like a teaspoon in there of that. We're going to add a little bit of cinnamon as well. And everyone, I think, does their jerk a little bit differently. This is our version. I know we've done another one before. And it's not everyone has their own version. So sometimes when you make variations, you might have to stick to your own. So for chilies, for example, if you like heat, use as much heat as you want. Scotch bonnets are like usually what's used in here. Habaneros, yeah. So these guys, these chilies carry a little bit of a punch. If you want to go a little bit more, you can even just find more chilies that are a little hotter than that. We're gonna go on the milder side today, and I don't want to sacrifice on flavor. So what we're actually gonna use is a dried chili. This is an ancho chili. You can find some of these again. More grocery stores are starting to carry these dried varieties, and this is a mild chili. It's got a little bit of heat, but it's pretty mild, but it has a ton of flavor, a ton of smokiness. So I don't want to lose that by not adding a chili here. So what you do is you take some of these dried chilies, you open them up, and you can just take the seeds out in the middle, like that, and the stem. and then you would soak this in a little bit of warm water,
Right. Okay.
right? And so that's what we have here. So we've soaked it in a little bit of water for like a couple minutes, and it sort of reconstitutes the dried
Softens it up a
chili,
little
softens it up
Yeah.
a little bit, and then we're going to add that to the
Yeah.
blender with just a little bit of that liquid.
And
as
so,
well.
obviously, if there's any digestive issues happening, you may want to stay away from spices,
Mm-hmm.
or if any mouth sores, or staying away from the citrusy and very spicy foods, I recommend to avoid, and then add it back. Once your symptoms subside.
If you don't mind, we're going to actually use some of the lime zest
All right.
as well.
Perfect.
Same thing, like same way you did the garlic.
Perfect.
Just the
Let me know
outside.
when.
And the lime zest is going to give your marinade, anything you add it to, a lot of lime flavor. All the essential oils are actually in the lime. So it's a great way to add citrus flavor to a dish, especially if, we've talked about before, if you want to limit the acidity because it might be bothersome, the zest might be a good way to still add flavor. Thank you. And if you want to cut that in half,
All right.
and,
Squeeze the juice in
we'll
there,
get
or what?
the juice in there. Absolutely. Beautiful. While Travis is doing that, I'm going to add just a teaspoon of honey to the marinade. That'll go in. Beautiful.
Yeah. And so blend that all up and put it on top of the turkey.
Yeah. Awesome. You can use a couple limes. We're going to add a little bit of olive oil as well. And we'll blend this up. If it needs a little bit more liquid, just add a little bit more liquid as you go. Oh, just a little pinch of salt too. We don't need too much because we have a lot of other flavor in here. We can always season after if we need. Yeah, it's not turning.
There we go.
Good. Do a little swap there.
That was quick.
Awesome. So once you have this beautiful marinade, and you can make a little bit more if you want, and use it after at the end
Right.
to sauce it. Any marinade that goes onto the meat, you do not want to use that again, obviously.
Yeah.
Disregard that.
Yeah, so you want to, discard
And
that.
again, to use the marinade, you want to marinate it for at least 30 minutes in the fridge for food safety reasons, but also to reduce, so that when you put it on the grill, you're reducing the carcinogens when you're putting it onto the high heat onto the grill. So for those kind of a maximum effect, make sure that you're marinating for at least 30 minutes in the fridge.
Beautiful. Yeah, and these, again, the turkey thighs here, they're obviously a lot bigger than the chicken thighs, so you don't need as much. But they come out really, really nice and juicy. And can you smell like the lime?
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, lots of aromas going on there. Now, when we throw this onto the barbecue, we want to use about a medium to medium-high heat to get it going.
Okay.
Like Stephanie mentioned, we want to prevent a lot of color on there. And so what we're going to do is use an indirect heat and direct heat method. So direct heat would be the flames right underneath. So that's where we do a medium-high. And we can start it off that way
Right.
for like the first 5-10 minutes. And then to finish cooking, we want to move it to a side of the grill that's either off or it's on a low heat.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is close the lid and use indirect heat. So the heat's coming from one source, but it's not actually underneath. So you won't get those flames that
Yes.
we're worried about, right?
Because the fat, the animal fat that drips onto the charcoal or the bottom of the grill, it flares up and burns, and that's the part that's causing those cancer-causing chemicals to be on your food. So by cooking on a lower temperature, you're avoiding that flare up and the spread of those carcinogens on the food.
Another thing to have on hand. We're full of tools, we're full of tips, lots of safety today. Go to the dollar store, get yourself one of these little squeeze bottles, and fill it up with water.
Right.
You can fill it up with any liquid.
Lime juice.
lime. I thought you said wine juice. Wine juice works. I know sometimes at home, maybe we put a little bit of beer in there. The idea is that we want to keep the flames at bay. This really, really, really helps. Anytime you have those flames building up, I know that, there's always panic. And you're running inside, you're throwing something on. All you need is just a little bit of that spray, and that'll keep everything
At bay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Flames down. Plus, if you flavored it, like throw some lemons, or
Right.
you're actually keeping the food moist and you're flavoring it
Right.
as well.
Right. That's genius. What
Yeah.
a good tip.
Absolutely. And then you can even, if you have
Yeah,
somebody
exactly. Give it a go.
Yeah, guests coming
Yeah.
over, a couple squirts, you're good. Just make sure that, I know this probably sounds obvious, but if you did like beer or wine, whatever, don't put anything that's has a high alcohol percentage, right?
Yeah.
That'll just cause more flames.
Of course.
Yes. Okay.
And if it's plastic, you don't want it too close to the grill.
Yes. Keep it away from the grill. Good call. So that is going to go onto the grill, and if you're using indirect heat, it should take about 40 minutes closed.
okay.
If you're not using the grill, I roast mine in the oven for at 400 degrees for about 40 to 45 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So this is what we're looking at the end.
Oh, look at that.
And it looks dark, but it's the honey in the marinade that's actually caramelizing
Right.
Yeah.
on top, right?
And to know that it's at a food safety temperature, you can use a thermometer as well
Yes.
and just put it into the thickest part of the meat. And so for poultry or fish, you want it to be about 74 degrees Celsius or 165 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, anything with a bone. So especially if you're doing whole chickens, whole poultry,
Yep.
you want to go even higher. So you want to make sure it's at 185.
Yeah.
Okay, so something like this, you can like shred with a fork, or I'm just gonna slice this, and this
Oh, it
is
looks
like
great.
super juicy. And I don't know if the smells are hitting you guys. Yeah, you become immune to the smells after being in the kitchen all day, but beautiful flavor here.
It's juicy.
Yeah.
Really juicy, and that marinade, it gives it a lot of flavor, but it protects it as well, right? And so to finish this off, we're gonna make a quick little slaw. So I'm gonna get you to help out again.
All right.
So we're barbecuing everything today, including our pineapple.
All right.
Yeah, pineapple fruit is delicious on the barbecue. Again, it caramelizes the fruit, and you don't have to be afraid of getting those grill lines, like Stephanie mentioned. So it just concentrates the flavor, makes it really nice and sweet, and it's gonna be delicious for our slaw. So you want to just give it like
Give it a go.
cross chop, rough cut on there. I've got just some plain cabbage, green cabbage, and some red onion, some sliced red onion. If you sprinkle a little bit of vinegar and maybe a little pinch of salt, you just massage it, let it sit. It softens the onions, and it kills the heat a little bit. So I'm not actually a big raw onion fan, so I will actually treat all my onions like this, so they become a little bit sweeter. And they get this really hyper violet color. Fantastic.
Good to go.
In there,
All right.
beautiful. And we've got a bunch of mint and cilantro here. Rough chop. I'm getting you to work today, man.
Oh, I love it.
Beautiful. And it doesn't have to be fine. Just, again, rough chop. And we're going to put a little bit of lime juice in here. Beautiful colors. That can go in.
Perfect. Oh, everything smells so good.
Lots of fresh flavors here. And we'll finish it. Again, just a little bit of olive oil on top. Everyone giggles when they get the olive oil. It's no secret, I do enjoy adding olive oil. All right, so that is pretty much it. We're gonna serve. And we're doing little slider buns with this one, but I mean, it is delicious even as is.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't really have to do much. But they have these adorable little ciabatta buns, so we had to use them. So I'll put a few slices of the turkey, jerk turkey on top.
Yum.
Yeah, it looks incredible. Oh my goodness. On those little slider buns.
Yeah.
So great.
And a little toss. The pineapple and the cabbage. And that pineapple, again, it's gonna, like this, there's gonna be a little bit of smokiness from the jerk, but that pineapple, and we're just gonna make a mess. We're not trying to,
Don't need to be neat with
don't
them.
need to be neat
No.
today, just right on top.
It's
Little
barbecue, and
crunch.
sometimes it's a little messy. It's great that way.
Absolutely. And there we go. These are our jerk sliders with our grilled pineapple slaw.
Beautiful.
Tea down. Yes.